Have you ever felt like you were behind, even though you knew you were exactly where God wanted you to be? I know that feeling. There is so much pressure to launch, to produce, to post, to keep up, and to make it look like everything is happening exactly according to plan. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that changing a timeline meant we had failed. But what if changing a timeline isn't failure? What if it's wisdom? What if the most spiritual thing you can do is stop rushing? Today, I want to talk to you about why I made the decision to move the launch of Aligned and Unscripted to September 1, and why that decision has reminded me that alignment is all will always matter more than speed. Welcome to Aligned and Unscripted. I'm Juanita Gaynor, and this is a space where we have the most honest conversations about healing and faith and leadership, purpose, entrepreneurship, and what it really looks like to build a life without abandoning yourself in the process. This isn't about pretending we figured everything out. It's about choosing alignment over performance. If you're listening today, I'm grateful you're here. Let's talk. See, when I first announced this podcast, I had every intention on launching earlier. The artwork was coming together, the vision was clear, the ideas were flowing. But somewhere in the middle of preparing everything, I asked myself a question that changed everything. Am I building something just because the calendar says I should, or because it's truly ready? That question made me pause. Not because I doubted the vision. I never doubted the vision. I simply realized I wanted the foundation to match the assignment. I spent enough years living according to deadlines that other people created. And I've spent enough years believing productivity was the same thing as purpose. I spent enough years thinking that slowing down meant I had fallen behind. But healing teaches you something different. Healing teaches you that rushing usually costs more than waiting. Sometimes we rush relationships. Sometimes we rush business decisions. Sometimes we rush opportunities because we're afraid they'll disappear. And sometimes we even rush God. And if I'm honest, I've done every single one of those things. But this season feels different. This season isn't about proving that I can do more. It's about proving that I can trust God more. See, that looks different. Saying no when everyone expects yes. It means resting when the world celebrates burnout. It means allowing ideas to mature instead of forcing them into existence before they're ready. There's a verse I often return to. Ecclesiastes tells us that there is a season for everything, not some things, everything. That means purpose has seasons, healing has seasons, business has seasons, preparation has seasons, even waiting has a purpose and a season. We celebrate harvest, but we rarely celebrate preparation. Yet every harvest begins with something no one sees: roots. You don't see roots growing. You don't applaud roots. You don't post pictures of roots. But without them, nothing survives the storm. Maybe that's where you are today. Maybe you're growing roots. Maybe it feels quiet. Maybe it feels slow. Maybe you're wondering why everyone else seems to be moving faster. Oh, my friend, don't confuse visibility with fruitfulness. Some of the strongest things God builds behind begin in hidden places. As I prepared for this episode, I realized something. The launch wasn't delayed, it was refined. There's a difference. Delay implies something went wrong. Refine means something became stronger. And maybe that's true about you too. Maybe your dream isn't delayed. Maybe your healing isn't delayed. Maybe your purpose isn't delayed. Maybe God is just refining it. So, can I leave you with a few questions? What are you rushing because you're afraid of falling behind? Whose timeline are you trying to keep? If no one was watching, would you be in such a hurry? Sometimes the pressure we feel isn't coming from God. Sometimes it's coming from comparison. And comparison has never produced peace. One of my favorite verses, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Notice something about that verse. God talks about his plans. He doesn't talk about your preferred timeline. Sometimes faith looks like moving. Sometimes faith looks like waiting. Both require trust. As I prepare for September 1st, I want these preseason conversations to be exactly what they sound like, conversations, not polished performances, just honest moments about what it means to live aligned with who God created us to be. If today's episode encouraged you, I hope you'll subscribe now so you're here when season one begins this September. And if someone in your life is feeling behind, overwhelmed, or discouraged, send them this episode. It might be the reminder that they need. I want to thank you for spending these few minutes with me. Until next time, remember this: the launch can wait, the likes can wait, the applause can wait, but alignment can't. I'm Juanita Gaynor, and this has been Aligned and Unscripted. I'll see you next week.